Growth of socialist ideas. The 1930s witnessed a rapid growth of socialist ideas within and outside the Congress. In 1929, there was a great economic slump or depression in the United States, which gradually spread to the rest of the world. Everywhere in the capitalist countries, there was a steep decline in production and foreign trade, resulting in economic distress and large scale unemployment. At one time, the number of unemployed was 3 million in Britain, 6 million in Germany, and 12 million in United States. On the other hand, the economic situation in the Soviet Union was just the opposite. Not only was there no slump, but the years between 1929 and 1936 witnessed the successful completion of the first two 5-year plans, which pushed up the Soviet industrial production by more than 4 times. The World Depression thus brought the capitalist system into disrepute and drew attention towards Marxism, socialism, and economic planning. Consequently, socialist ideas began to attract more and more people, especially the young, the workers, and the peasants. From its early days, the national movement had adopted a pro-poor orientation. This orientation was immensely strengthened with the impact of the Russian Revolution of 1917. The coming of Gandhiji on the political stage and the growth of powerful left-wing groups during 1920s and 30s, it was Jawaharlal Nehru who played the most important part in popularizing the vision of a socialist India, both within the national movement and in the country at the large. Within the Congress, the left-wing tendency found reflection in the election of Jawaharlal Nehru as the president for 1929, 1936, 1937, and of Subhash Chandra Bose for 1938 and 1939. Nehru argued that the political freedom must mean the economic emancipation of the masses, especially of the toiling peasants from feudal exploitation. In his presidential address to the Lucknow Congress in 1936, Nehru urged the Congress to accept socialism as its goal and bring itself closer to the peasantry and the working class. This was also, he felt, the best way of weaning away the Muslim masses from the influence of their reactionary communal leaders. He said, I am convinced that the only key to the solution of the world problems and of India's problems lies in socialism. And when I use this word, I do not in any vague humanitarian way, but in the scientific economic sense. That involves vast and revolutionary changes in our political and social structure, the ending of vested interest in land and industry, as well as the feudal and autocratic Indian state system. That means the ending of private property, except in a restricted sense, and the replacement of the present profit system by the higher ideal cooperative service. It means ultimately a change in our instincts and habits and desires. In short, it means a new civilization, radically different from the present capitalist order. The growth of the radical forces in country was soon reflected in the program and policies of the Congress. A major point of departure was the revolution of fundamental rights and economic policy passed by the Karachi session of the Congress on the urging of Jawaharlal Nehru. The resolution declared, in order to end the exploitation of the masses, political freedom must include real economic freedom of the starving millions. The resolution guaranteed the basic civil rights of the people, equality before law, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, elections on the basis of universal adult franchise, and free and compulsory primary education. It promised substantial reduction in rent and revenue, exemption from the rent in case of uneconomic holdings, and relief of agriculture indebtedness and control of money lending. Better conditions for workers, including a living wage, limited hours of work, and protection of women workers. The right to organize and form unions by workers and peasants, and state ownership or control of key industries, mines, and means of transport. Radicalism in the Congress was further reflected in the Faizpur Congress resolutions and election manifesto in 1936, which promised radical transformation of the agrarian system, substantial reduction in rent and revenue, scaling down of rural debts and provision of cheap credit, abolition of feudal levies, security of tenure of tenants, a living wage for agricultural laborers, and the right to form trade unions and peasant unions, and the right to strike. In 1945, the Congress Working Committee adopted a resolution recommending abolition of landlordism. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the next video, we are going to start with the next paragraph on page number 254. Thank you, and do share and subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Your support is what keeps us going. Thank you.